TGreen, and this is my persuasive speech for Communication 101. My topic is the higher tax bills that have been upsetting the North Harrison residents. The purpose of my speech is to let the audience know who is responsible and the reason for such a large property tax increase. North Harrison Superintendent John Roeder said that a mistake in 2009 in the bus replacement fund, along with an additional $660,000 in the debt service fund, caused the tax rate, which has fluctuated the past several years between $1.30 and $1.44, and it was lowered by the Indiana Department of Local Government Finance to 87 cents last year. The $660,000 was for a payment the school corporation received from the county's riverboat funds that was not applied correctly. I am a resident of North Harrison, and I was one of the many that was surprised when I received my property tax bill that had greatly increased without warning. My speech is directed towards North Harrison taxpayers, and my purpose is to inform the community that we, the taxpayers, are the victims, and the perpetration is the government employees and what they have done. The taxpayers are the ones suffering, having to pay for the government's improper stewardship. If someone on the school board would have paid attention and noticed what was happening, this mess could have been prevented. Some of the things that I'm going to talk about in my speech is that the increase, and also the North Harrison officials said that the tax bills are abnormally high this year due to the mistakes, but is looked to be going down in the future. One thing that is accountable for the tax increase is the school corporation's debt service rate went from 24 cents last year to 66 cents, and also the funds for a payment that the riverboat was applied incorrectly, as I said at the beginning. The other thing that is held accountable for the tax increase was the bus replacement cost, and the rate for that went from 5 cents last year to 27 cents. Many community residents claim that they would have not supported the additional bus funds if they would have known about this tax increase, and also that the school administrators have been failing to apply the money to the correct places. What explanation is there for such a mistake? Well, the school board president, Burns, said he is very upset about the mistake and he feels responsible. He also promises better control in the future when budgeting the taxes, and also he wants to ask the superintendent permission to send letters to everyone inviting them in to discuss what has been going on. The taxpayers are the ones suffering from the failures from the government-ran public school system and their activities. They're just given a slap on the hand when it comes to economic conditions, as long as the taxpayers are the one paying for the government's mistakes. Not even one penalty will be increased or assessed on the school system for their failure, yet the so-called mistake is the fact that the property tax is increasing during a time the property values are decreasing. One thing that you can do as a taxpayer is to remember that an election is coming up in May, and some members that are responsible for this nonsense is up for re-election, and we can make a change to prevent this mistake from happening again. If you don't watch your school board closely, you're certain to get a surprise each year on your property tax bill. I am guilty of not attending the school board meetings like I should, but I really don't understand what the schools and the school boards think about when they decide to spend more and more each year. Each year we do get asked for more and more, and they should run the school like a business. If you don't have the money to run the school corporation, then cut something. Let the voters and the taxpayers decide when the cuts are too deep. Like I said, the topic of my speech is on the abnormally high increase, and that the property owners in the area have been caught off guard when they see their bills. It did increase, like I said, to to $1.50 per $100 assessed value. The explanation for the dramatic increase is that the bus replacement fund wasn't applied correctly, and during the past several years it has gone up and down and hasn't been at a steady rate. Gary Byrne did say that he was going to try in the future to see that this doesn't happen again, and will try very hard to see what they can do to get the tax rates lowered for next year. With that said, my intention for choosing this topic is to convince the voters and the taxpayers that it is time for a change. The election is coming up and we can make a difference. We need to get rid of the problems. The question is, where is the $660,000 and why do we have to pay for the board's mistake? Many of us who don't go to the board meetings are guilty of not being able to do something about this, but in the same sense, we are the innocent ones paying for the government's mistake, along with everybody else. I really don't understand what the school and the school boards think about when they decide to spend more and more each year. Every year we get demanded to pay more and more. If you don't have the funds to run something, then you usually have to cut something somewhere else. Let us decide when those cuts are getting too deep. I think that some of our North Harrison School Board and administration have had some serious mishaps, and some of those are being corrected under a new superintendent. The other problems will be taken care of at the upcoming elections. We are having to pay for someone else's mistake, and they are not even getting a small penalty for the mistakes that they have made. The fact is that the property tax is increasing during a time when the property values are decreasing. Some facts on that property values have declined significantly, but the property taxes. Also, sales tax increased 17%, so the government wouldn't suffer from the recession and the accompanying decline in property values and property tax across the state of Indiana. With this sales tax increase, it was implemented in advance of the property tax billings, so the government could reap a benefit and further penalize taxpayers. Another thing that is in the school's administration's hands that they failed to do was pretty much apply the money where it didn't need to go, and then in the end they made a mistake and they didn't have to pay for it. Another thing, the school administration failed to apply the casino money, the casino revenue, to its building bonds, and the school system made a payment that lowered the 2009 tax bills. Only a single payment was applied to this year's bill, so that also boosted the debt service tax rate. The school board president said that he and other members plan to get people together to answer questions and to talk about how this happened and why it happened. The bottom line is this: the community continues to suffer from the mistakes the school board has made. If it's a simple problem, so they say, there's a simple solution. Reconsider members of the school board and their decisions. And that includes my persuasive speech. Thank you.